Hi, my name is Katie Frazier. I'm making this video to share with you some information that I've come across recently. I know I've made videos in the past posting things on social media about my dad, Rick Frazier, and this is a video again about that. I'm making this video again because I feel like nothing is really being done. Although last time when I posted on social media, I did get a lot of responses and people who were willing to help. So I'm hoping that this will, help again. Recently, a couple of years ago, I moved out of my dad's house, and after I found that he was doing a lot of wicked things and just how he had hurt me, I didn't want to be around him any longer. Just a couple of things to summarize that I've talked about previously is when I was younger, my dad sexually abused my sisters and I. I am the oldest of 4 children. There's me, my sister Hannah, my sister Chloe, and then my brother Ricky. And my parents got divorced, and once the divorce started, my sisters and I kind of came forward and told my mom that when we were younger, our dad would come into our bed when we were sleeping and would just inappropriately rub us and touch us. And so this was immediately brought forward to Child Protective Services. However, nothing had been done. And later on in my life, when I found records, like the Child Protective Service records, I had found the statements that I'd made to Child Protective Services, and I found that I had actually even been to Child Protective Services multiple times throughout the years because teachers had been concerned that I was being abused by my dad, other family members. And each time, I saw the statements I made, they were concerning to me, even just like, I didn't even remember that as a child. And looking back and to see that nothing had been done. And so then I started to realize that a lot of the people that my dad is connected with are involved in law enforcement or are politicians. And I just realized that it seemed like the system was kind of rigged. And this continued to happen. Throughout my parents' divorce, I saw the judge treat my mom terribly. She threw my mom in jail for paying her tithes. And I know this judge has also done other things where she threw another mom in jail for not vaccinating her child, even though it was her religious right. So just a lot of things that, my dad has gone before judges and had lawyers and had law enforcement support him that really the evidence was not on his side, but yet they still supported him. So that concerned me because also then I'd found records of, for example, the kids were given to my dad for full custody. And that was really confusing because I knew that, one, I told them that how my dad had molested me, my sisters had told them as well, but also there was other records that my dad had sexually abused other men and even younger boys at, a camp that he used to volunteer at Detroit, a Christian camp. He was kicked out of that for molesting younger boys. There's records of this. There's records of him soliciting men for sex, offering them money if they would have sex with him. And these were men that worked for him. So it was, they brought cases against him, but yet, he gave them a lot of money, so they stopped talking about it. But everything was just being swept under the rug, and I'm looking, how are people still supporting my dad? How is he getting away with this for so long? And to the point where more and more people are being hurt, not only my family, but then I found record of how he misuses monies from the charities that he gets. My whole life I lived a had a lot of money. Never had to worry about we were going to eat, or I could always get new clothes. And we lived in a big house. I knew that my dad had money, but I never really understood how he got it because he just told me, he did charity work. And so I'm thinking, if you do charity work, how do you have all this money? And I started to find, and even I found like news articles that said that my dad took about on average, like 83% of the money that came into the charity, he took for himself and, running the charity. Whereas the rest of like the little 15, less than 20% went to actually people in need or the charities that said it was going to help. So that was all very concerning, but no one really seemed to be doing anything about it. And then also recently what had happened is my dad started talking evil about this one pastor, saying that, his name is Apostle Taylor, saying that he steals money, and he was upset because my mom had actually given part of her divorce settlement. She gave a large offering to the church. It's her right, but somehow that made my dad very upset, I think because he felt it was kind of still his money. But since then, my dad has been actively against Apostle Taylor and even posted these terrible videos about him online because my dad brought him in for he was part of the deposition in my parents' divorce hearing. But so I went home recently, and this is why, I'm making this video again, because things are still wicked. My dad is still wicked, still doing so many evil things, and he is not at all repenting or showing any remorse or regret for the things that he's done or the people he's hurt. Just last month, I went home to see my dad because, I had left him. I didn't want anything to do with him. But I recently went home to see my dad because I wanted to see, maybe give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I had misjudged him. Maybe the things that he was doing, there was a reason for. I didn't know the full story. He's my dad. I wanted to somehow kind of be wrong so that he wasn't this terrible guy. I didn't want my dad to be a terrible person. But I went home and I found the complete opposite. Not only was he continuing to steal money from charities, even just when I got home, the very first few days that I got home, he gave me a credit card that was tied into the business account. So clearly when I was there, the charges I was making for food or whatever were not for the business, were not for the charity, but it was being purchased with charity money. So that right off the bat, I'm like, why is all the money you're spending from the charity? Then I also just found, even with the church, what he's doing against that was so wicked. I found that even just in 1 month, that he had paid $96,000. This was in June of 2018. He had paid $96,000 to spread negative lies about this church, about Apostle Taylor, about the church event that was coming up, to discourage people from attending. And I'm just looking like, how are you? You profess to be a Christian, although I know you're a closet homosexual because even just the men you hang out with, he's always with this one guy named Paris, and they're always out, doing God knows what. And my mom has caught them in bed before, but yet my dad still denies he's homosexual. But so, the church supports him, my dad, because he gives a lot of money. His ties, I'm sure, are huge. But I'm looking, how do you profess to be a Christian, yet you're spreading negative media, telling people not to go to this church? And that was what really disappointed me. And even just while I was there, I saw so many records of bank statements and everything that just really showed how he was misusing charity finances. So I went back home. He still never even apologized for what he had done to my sisters and I. He would deny it, and to my face. He would deny that he even molested my sisters and I, or that he even abused all these other men, that there's record of him doing so. So, I left my dad's house again. I wasn't there for long. I just really wanted to give him a chance. But I'm making this video again to show that he's still wicked. He is continuing to steal money, continuing to abuse his power, and even he's abusing his brother's power. His brother is in law enforcement. He's a deputy police chief, and he's had his brother helping him, to even just to come against the church. He tried to start a protest to stop people from attending the church, and his brother's been helping him with that. So I'm coming to social media because the law enforcement is wicked, the politicians are wicked, and someone's got to say something so this will stop.